Kings win projections, and a little bit surprising here, Chris. We've been going back and forth about just MGM and all the different betting sites and how most of them have the Kings at 46.5. We've seen, Nate said, we've seen a couple crawling up to 47.
Caesars, for sure.
Caesars was at 47.5, which I would still do it, but if you can find 46.5, take 46. But you have, Chris, the Western Conference and ESPN really making Kings fans feel good with this one.
Yeah, so they have the projections. I think they used ESPN's some version of their win models that they have with some of their programs. And Kevin Pelton also had some influence on the decisions of how many wins. And in the Eastern Conference, they have Celtics as the 1 seed, Cavs as the 2 seed, Bucks as the 3 seed, Pacers as the 4 seed, and the New York Knicks, and this is an updated list, having the New York Knicks as the 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. They project the Celtics to win 52 games and the Cavs to win 50. All the other ones are 46 and below. And in the Western Conference, it's a bit of a similar story. You have the Thunder as the projected 1 seed. You have the Grizzlies as the projected 2 seed. Both of those two teams, they have projected as over 50 wins. They have the Dallas Mavericks sitting at number 3 at a projected 49.7 wins. And they have the Denver Nuggets sitting at number 5. Yes, that's right. Mavericks at number 3, Nuggets at number 5 at 47.4. Which makes you ask, well, then who's at number 4? And the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is your Sacramento Kings are projected in this ESPN win projection, 49.4 wins. Kevin Pelton of ESPN writes, after averaging 47 wins over the past 2 seasons, the Kings have their most talented roster yet. After moving for Harrison Barnes for DeMar DeRozan in the sign-in trade, the question is whether these players will fit as well on the court, given DeRozan, like De'Aaron Fox and six-man Malik Monk, is best with the ball in his hands. I remain skeptical the Kings will finish quite this high in the West. But yet the projections, the math, the computers, they say the Kings are going to do really well. 49.4 wins, just under the Dallas Mavericks 49.7, and putting the Kings 4th in the Western Conference. And I think that surprises a lot of people, especially considering that this is from the 4-letter network. So there you go. They have the Kings as the 4th best team in the Western Conference. And I do kind of agree that more so with the win total, I think they could be the 3 seed. If 49-50 wins gets it done, I've been saying it for a couple months now. I think this Kings team is easily a 50-win team.
Yeah, and look, this is what makes sense to us. Literally, they've been averaging 47 wins with Harrison Barnes. And last season, you didn't have Malik Monk.
Nope.
You didn't have Kevin Huerter the last 10, 15 games.
Nope.
This is obvious. It's so obvious to me.
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And I think that people are overrating I think it's interesting. If you're the Timberwolves, I'd be a little bit upset that you fall out of that. But I do think that's what's going to happen. It just makes tons of sense. And you can even argue, and I would, Grizzlies at 51 wins. I think that's crazy to assume that the Grizzlies are going to jump from where they were last year all the way back up to the 2nd best team in the Western Conference with as deep as it is. And I feel like people forget that the Grizzlies have definitely lost a good handful of the players that were there that year that they did finish the 2 seed. I think that it's the West is the Thunder at number 1, and I really do think the rest is completely open. It wouldn't surprise me if the Kings finish as the 2 seed. I really don't think that's insane to say that the Kings could finish better than the Mavericks, that they could finish better than the Grizzlies. They can finish better than Timberwolves and the Nuggets. I think this roster is really, really good, and I think the fact that we talk about Kevin Huerter as an X factor, maybe the 7th guy, the 7th best player on this team, not a lot of teams have that luxury. And we're not mentioning Trey Lyles. We're not mentioning Alex Len, who you look at some of the advanced numbers and is one of the best backup centers in the NBA. I just think that people are just very, very much underrating the Kings. And I think it is just simply because they are the Sacramento Kings.
Well, and that's why sometimes the computers and the numbers, you just punch it in and you get a non-biased opinion.
Yep.
Right. It's not, you're not thinking about, the computers aren't thinking about Sacramento as a city. They're not thinking about the past of Sacramento. They're not thinking about what happened against the Warriors. They're not thinking about any of that. They're just saying, based on what we're seeing, this is what it looks like to me. And if anything, it just tells you that it's wide open. And I can't even do it now, Chris, but 4 or 5 against the Nuggets. And I've been talking a lot
boy.
of trash against about the Nuggets, but I don't think I'd love that smoke.
Yeah. I don't love it, but I think they definitely have a chance. I mean, we've seen Sabonis and Jokic pretty much cancel each other out in a lot of their matchups. I think, Jamal Murray,
he's getting locked up.
Kind of give De'Aaron the edge in that matchup, and that puts a lot on Keegan Murray versus Aaron Gordon. And wouldn't that be how annoyed would you be of the conversations of we already get annoyed of the Kings are trying to do this Nuggets model.
Yeah.
If you get a head-to-head Kings versus Nuggets model, this is the new version of what they tried to do and their spin on it. I think that would probably get talked to exhaustion. But the Nuggets would probably be the last. That would almost be like playing the Warriors again in the play-in, where it's just like, why are we getting the only Western Conference team here that has some championship experience?
Right.
Why does that have to be the team that we end up playing?
Looking at the list though, I don't know if I would mind. I don't know if I would mind it. I'm not high on the Nuggets.
No,
but,
I mean,
I wouldn't.
It's the West. Anyone's going to be tough. Anyone's going to be tough.
Playoffs.
You play anybody. I don't want to play Luka either in the first round. So
I'm not that high on MPJ. I think he's a one-trick pony. Yeah. And I'm not that high on Jamal Murray. And by that time, Devin Carter would be back.
He would.
So you getting locked up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that much. Right? Jokic, you can't score 70, and even if you did, it would not be enough. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. All right. Coming up next, we have renderings. And yes, this is a radio show, but we're going to talk about the